In this video, I'm going to show you how an MSP can take advantage of the FirmGuard SecureConfig feature. For those not familiar, SecureConfig enables remote configuration of any endpoint's BIOS settings without the administrator ever having to leave his or her chair. From the FirmGuard dashboard, I'm going to drill down into this Dell Optiplex 7010 and then specifically go over to the SecureConfig tab. And you'll notice that there's this entry here, Dell BIOS settings. If I click on that, it shows the various settings that in various categories. And I'm going to begin by actually doing a search, and I'll use the term USB. And when I search, there are 4 results total, and you'll see 3 of them are right here under the integrated devices category. So if I wanted to, right now they're enabled, but if I wanted to disable the front USB ports, I could check that off or disable the rear ones, or if I wanted to disable USB boot support. And so let's use that as an example. Let's say right now USB boot support is enabled, but let's say I wanted to disable it. I would simply click here, go up to save, and then this is, of course, going to require a reboot. So I can decide, do I want to do this right away, in which case the reboot will happen immediately, or I could schedule this out to a future time. I'm not, for the purposes of this demo, I'm not going to do the reboot, but you get the idea of how that could be done. And so in this case, I abandoned that update. So what I can do is hit clear changes, and that gets me back to a refreshed status. And then if I drill down here, this is the same thing we were looking at before. You'll see that all the BIOS settings that Dell, in this case, the manufacturer of this particular endpoint, exposes to an administrator are shown here in convenient categories. Now, that's not always the case. It varies from manufacturer to manufacturer, but Dell tends to present it this way. And so I won't go through all of them, but if I were to click here, you can see, for example, here's a really important one, secure boot, which we've talked about in other videos, is very important. In this case, it's enabled, so not an issue. We already looked at integrated devices. You can scroll down and storage. There are various settings, the display, the connections, the Bluetooth, wireless LAN, some of the power settings, which you could certainly change. Security. This is a significant one, TPM, and this is particularly important, perhaps if you're going from Windows 10 to 11. Windows 11 requires TPM, so if it's not enabled, this would be a method to be able to do that very easily remotely. Continuing on, password settings, update and recovery settings, system management. This is an interesting one, which many MSPs like, which is the ability to enable or disable Wake on LAN. If I continue down, there's some keyboard settings, pre-boot behavior, virtualization, different settings there, performance, system logs, and then finally miscellaneous. And as you can see, there are a tremendous number of these different settings, which can be a bit overwhelming. And really, unless you're a BIOS expert, you may not even know what all these settings do. But that is actually another advantage of SecureConfig that many of our MSP customers have pointed out. So SecureConfig is a great tool to help explore the various capabilities of the endpoints you're managing. And often you'll run across some new capability that the hardware supports that you didn't even know existed. And perhaps after a little Google searching, you might find that a particular hardware feature is very helpful, and you can use SecureConfig to enable it for your clients. So I hope you found this video helpful and that you'll soon adopt SecureConfig as part of your standard operating procedure so that you never have to make another on-site visit just to update BIOS.